Hello, this is Dr. Pankyu. I'd like to welcome you to the lab component of this course. We're going to begin by going to the Lab tab in your Blackboard site, and the lab syllabus is listed here. Please read this lab syllabus and be familiar with what is expected of you this semester. You will be coming to lab 4 times during the semester. This will be on the Cranberry campus on selected Mondays, and we will be in lab from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. You can count on being there the whole time. We are very busy in lab, and we do have a short break, so please remember to bring something along to snack on. And also when you come to lab, it's very important for you to remember to wear closed-toed shoes. This is a laboratory. Not to bring food or drink into the lab itself, although you may keep it in your backpack. And please don't wear short shorts, bare arms, or a bare midriff. In this case, you would be asked to wear a lab coat. If you forget your closed-toed shoes, I do have 2 pairs of shoes, but I wear an 8.5 and 9 in women's. If that's not your size, you can leave and quickly go to Walmart and get another pair of shoes. Walmart is just right down the road from the Cranberry campus. So you are going to be completing labs in LearnSmart as well as labs on campus. The LearnSmart Labs are described here. It's always a good idea to clear your browser cache before you begin each LearnSmart Lab, and also before you do just LearnSmarts themselves when you are in the ebook. It tends to clog things up using McGraw-Hill's Connect, and clearing your browser cache usually takes care of any problems that you're having. A number of times students have had problems with the LearnSmart Labs, especially the metric lab when they're trying to measure things on the screen. And by clearing their browser cache, they found that they eliminated a lot of the problems that they were having. For this reason, don't wait until the last minute before you do these labs. If you run into a problem, you always want to be able to rectify that problem. Again, remembering that in the summer semester, the technology help desk is only there from Monday through Thursday, and they're closed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I usually can't help you with technology problems. I might be able to guide you in the right direction, but as a microbiologist, I'm not all that familiar with computer technology. So let's take a look at the first labs you'll be doing. One is the Scientific Method LearnSmart Lab, and the next is the Metric Measurement LearnSmart Lab. Both of these will be completed before you come to the Cranberry campus for your first lab. So the L that you see here indicates that this is a LearnSmart Lab. There's some information about the lab report you're going to be completing while you are doing this lab. There's also some additional information on the scientific method, a beginner's guide to graphing. You're going to be creating a graph in this LearnSmart Lab. And there's also some information on independent versus dependent variables. That's important for you to grasp because we'll be doing a number of experiments this semester in which you will be manipulating variables and you'll be collecting data. The data will be the dependent variable and the independent variable will be what you are manipulating. So let's go up here and take a look at the Scientific Method LearnSmart Lab. When you click on this, this is going to take you directly to Connect. If you haven't logged into Connect yet, you're going to be asked to either go for the 2-week free trial, which will be up at about the 30th of May. So if it's after the 30th of May, you're too late, of course, to finish this lab anyway. You can also sign in with your registration code that you purchased at the bookstore or another place, or you can also purchase access online. Remember, you will be using LearnSmart and LearnSmart Labs in this course. So it's going to prompt you through a few things here describing what it takes to do LearnSmart Labs.
The body of scientific information we have today is the result of many experiments using the scientific method. Click the yellow bar to continue.
Okay, so there's your coach again. She's going to talk to you periodically, especially if you screw up. So she'll ask you, you really haven't collected enough data. Are you sure you want to proceed? Pay attention to what she's saying because it will help you complete this to 100%. LearnSmart Labs can be completed again and again. If you don't get it right the first time, you can do it a second time, a third time until you get 100%. So this is another way to boost your score. I don't say that it won't be time consuming. You can see here that you've got 50 minutes invested into this lab, but it is corresponding to a 2-hour lab that you would be taking on campus on the scientific method if you weren't taking a hybrid class. So you'll see first you have core concepts on the scientific method, and then you are going to do LearnSmart Labs, 4 phases in here. That should take about 30 minutes. And then finally, you're going to do an experiment on science in action using pill bugs. Right? So you first want to start with the core concepts, then you want to go to science and theory, and then to the LearnSmart Labs. As usual, there's a menu up here on the left. The menu will tell you, anytime you want to know if you've completed a lab, you can go to My Reports. Okay. There's some information on how to use LearnSmart Labs if you are confused about anything. Most of the time we just blunder through it. And here you can leave the assignment. Right.
We will start by using the scientific method in practice. Go directly to the experiment or learn more about the pill bugs first.
Okay. So here you can learn about the pill bugs' external anatomy, their motion, and their preferences. And then you can here now go to the experiment. When you go to the experiment, this will take you about 40 minutes to complete. Right? And she's going to guide you through this. Giving feedback, it tells you here, is for reporting errors. It's not for giving feedback for your hypothesis. Right? It'll tell you up here how your overall mastery is in this component. Remember, you have to do all 3 components in this scientific method lab, and it will tell you if you are a mastery at 100%. Now, do be aware that for this first lab, and only this first lab, I will be doing grading part of it separately. So while you may have 100% mastery in this, you may have some errors in your lab report. Anytime that you have a question or you'd like me to check something before the due date, please feel free to send me an email and ask me to check something or ask me questions about it. I am here to help you to succeed. I'm going to leave the assignment. It will keep track of my progress, and I can go back and actually pick up where I was before. The second LearnSmart Lab that you'll be doing before we meet is on the metric measurements. Same protocol here. There's some information, videos on the metric system. And also you can get yourself into the metric measurements lab. Once you finish these 2 LearnSmart Labs, you will have quizzes for them. In fact, you'll have quizzes for all labs this semester, whether they're done in person or if they're done on LearnSmart. So the due date for the scientific method lab is given here. The due date for the metric measurements lab is also given. And the remaining labs that we complete either on campus or on LearnSmart Labs are also in here. So the links for the lab quizzes can be found here. And you can see the lab quizzes are going to, again, take you to connect. There's a 15-minute time limit on your quizzes. There is only one chance, one attempt for each lab quiz. Unlike your lecture quizzes where there are 2 attempts, there is only 1 attempt for the lab quiz. So you'll launch this. As before, you've got 15 out of 31 questions assigned, which means that every student is going to get a different quiz, and this helps to keep things honest. So just like the quizzes that you saw, you've got some information about reading a question, and then you're going to answer the questions. Here you are not going to have access to a smart book. You are going to need your brain. You can also have your lab manual next to you or any notes that you have taken while you have completed the LearnSmart Lab. So pay attention to these due dates. In the summer semester, it's usually a week after you complete the lab, but it's usually sometimes it might be a little bit sooner because we do have a very short period of time to complete the course in the summer, so a little under 12 weeks. All right, back to lab. Here's the information for the June 5th Cranberry Lab. So you should read these two lab exercises. I will be giving you copies of these lab exercises, so you don't have to print them. I wrote this lab manual close to 2 years ago, and there's some information. It's a PDF file of the microscopic tour of the kingdoms. You'll be doing part of it on our first lab, part of it on our second lab. There's some information on parts of the microscope, parts and functions of the microscope. Let me get rid of this here. There we go. And some other information about microscopy that you might be interested in. So the lab is actually going to be printed for you. It will be 3-hole punch. You'll be getting a copy of this. There's an introduction and then some information about what you'll be doing in lab. It really is important that you read this before you come into lab. If you don't, you're unprepared, you're more likely to make mistakes, you might hurt yourself, and you're wasting your time. If you've read it ahead of time, your brain is primed and you're ready to go, understanding what we're going to be doing. One of my favorite sayings comes from Louis Pasteur, who gave us pasteurization, also gave us a lot of other important things in microbiology, as well as some of the first vaccines. Louis Pasteur said, "Chance favors the prepared mind." And so when you see something in lab that you really weren't expecting, if you've already a little prepared when you come in, it's going to click. It's going to make sense to you. So you will be given copies of this. Please bring a 3-ring binder to your first lab so that you may insert these labs and then bring it with you to every subsequent lab. So we'll be doing 2 labs that day, part of a microscopic tour of the kingdoms and also the properties of water. After the first lab, you'll be doing another LearnSmart Lab. Then on June 19th in Cranberry, you're going to be doing another lab. You're going to do an enzyme investigation, and you'll also be doing the remainder of the microscopic tour of the kingdoms. You'll have another LearnSmart Lab. This one, I'm sorry, is a little bit out of place, but in order to not cram too much information at the end, I moved it to here. Hopefully you will have looked at some of the information in the textbook already, and I apologize for moving this here, but I didn't want you to have 3 things due on a single day. June 19th Cranberry Lab, I'm sorry, not June 9th, but July 10th. Get out of there. July 10th, you are going to be performing an experiment. You will have already designed your experiment with your group on a discussion board before you come in, and I'll talk to you about that the second lab so you're prepared for it. 2 more LearnSmart Labs, and then we have our final lab on July 24th, and on July 24th you'll be giving a presentation. You'll be using Google Slides to do this, and I'll show you how to use Google Slides and set you up on a Google Slides page so that you can prepare your presentation. All right, so that's all I have for you. If you have any questions about what's going on in lab, please contact me. If you have any problems with your getting into your Connect, you'll have access for 2 weeks to LearnSmart Labs and also to LearnSmart. So you want to get started on that right away. It's always a good idea to get ahead in this class. You never know when things are going to go wrong. I'm always the type of person that has a plan B and a plan C, and I try to get things done early just so nothing catches up with you at the end. You never know when things go south. See you in lab.